external influence, from government, from conglomerates, to actually suppress the truth. So this is actually stifling press freedom. So press freedom is in its all entirety is not that free.
Comrade Dan Folonsho, while you were talking, you talked about journalists exposing. Well, when you try to expose, I feel it's just about reporting the facts. So obviously, whoever is being exposed, let me go by your words, whoever is being exposed has to face the law. And you said journalists are supposed to be the first, not the fourth estate of the realm.
Yeah.
I said they are to set the agenda for
right.
the other arms of government.
Yes.
So obviously, it is not a criminal act to be a journalist.
Not at all.
And then journalists also don't do espionage. Let me come there. You know, when you say they expose, so let's get it right. There's no espionage. There's no espionage when it comes to journalism. Yeah. Journalism is look for the facts, gather these facts, and report the facts as they are. So if you want to say at this juncture, it is expedient to opine that journalism is not a crime.
No.
It is not espionage. It is not an act of sabotage. It is a profession grounded in the pursuit of facts, the illumination of the truth, and the amplification of voices, particularly those of the marginalized and voiceless. They knock on your door, not to eavesdrop, but to get your side of the story. They cover your community protests, power outages, school reopenings, and market crises, not for personal gain, but for public awareness. Journalists are not out to carry your matter, as the street slang goes. Not there to carry your matter for head, or to carry and come out for social media, no. They are out to ensure that your matter is treated with fairness and objectivity in the public sphere. One of the most dangerous outcomes of a societal suspicion of this, basically, is societal suspicion. And it silences the journalists. When people fear speaking to journalists, stories remain untold, injustices remain hidden, abuses fester, and the powerful operate unchecked. So, we must try to separate the craft from craftiness. A trained journalist operates with ethical guidelines, accuracy, fairness, objectivity, and accountability. They form the backbone of responsible journalism. Hence, the press is not the enemy. If there's anything, it is the shield between tyranny and freedom. So, the fear of journalists is deeply rooted in ignorance and misinformation. Many people do not understand the difference between a trained journalist and a gossip blogger. They do not understand the checks, verification processes, and ethical boundaries that govern the newsroom. Respect the journalists today. Well, before we go on a break, in Nigeria, contextually, if you look at how many people have been tracked or traced during this administration, I mean journalists, it's alarming. Right. So will you be saying today that in Nigeria we have some relative press freedom, considering the FOI, Freedom of Information Act, that is on ground, which may not necessarily be functional as it were. It is supposed to be functional, but many places you go to, when you enact that act, they refuse you audience. Right. So would you say that we can get better as a country when it comes to freedom of information and free speech? I remember, well, there's this myth, or maybe a story, a quote from the former Ugandan dictator, Idi Amin Dada, that says there's freedom of speech, but freedom after speech is not guaranteed. Is that the same in the 21st century in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. The concept of freedom is an ethical concept, and it's philosophical. You cannot get absolute freedom anywhere in the world, but you get relative freedom. The basic thing is that people are running away from freedom because of the responsibility attached to freedom. You don't just say anything anyhow because the law of defamation of character is there. So you can make your speech fine, but if you go into attacking personality, definitely you will just be taken to court. So which matters most? But when you look at the issue of FOA, now FOA, Freedom of Information Act, that one has been put in place. So it's not left to the journalists who are of investigative, leaning. We have investigative, we have interpreting, and then we have bare journalists. Bare journalism, you just take it, he said, he concluded. Bam.
He said he concluded.
That's it. That's the daily routine journalism. So, but the interpretative journalism will go further, go into background, and then you go for what they call background checking or what have you. Then historical perspective. Put the story in perspective. You may not get story for months. And when it comes, you root that one through investigative aspect. That's why you are now working with these security people at the stage. That's something. I have reason for saying all these things. So, but when you look at all these things, you start digging. And journalists live by disclosure. You must disclose whatever you want to do. And a sourceless story is a source of trouble. So there must be source. And then there's this refrain of a publish and be damned. How many people will be published and be damned in this age? Age where there's economic tyranny, where there's the multiplication of poverty and what have you, where journalists are not paid as expected. And then they are seen from the adversarial perspective, enemy of the society, whereas it's not like that. Because those people, there is tyranny in administration, which journalists want to expose on behalf of the public and the republic. So, and then we don't just need to be watching those people to be doing whatever they like. So, we cannot say that there's an absolute freedom in Nigeria of today when it comes to journalism. You look at from the economic angle, the means by which you have assembled all the things there, you have paid a lot of things, which with the naira that is nosediving and whatever, but for you to import all these gadgets there and there, you know what it means. It's a subtle way of constraining. You don't want people to talk. And then you leave that out. Go to the real press, the newspaper, to get off call, to get all these things, to manage online journalism and so on and so forth. You see a lot of problems. And then you now see another problem of this data shrinking, that you go and pay this before you can buy data to do this. It's a form of restricting the freedom of speech of the masses. And they've forgotten that those of them that are in power today is as a function of the press, the media system, who have been able to report them fairly and accurately to ensure that what is hidden is brought to bear. Journalists, they are supposed to be skeptics too. Skepticism, which is another branch of philosophy, is equally there, which means they must doubt a lot of things. That's scientific. You have to doubt. You don't go into it. You are not part of it. The day journalists become somebody to be reported, then there's a problem. You report fairly accurately. And then what is this realm of fairly accurately? When it gets to the issue of ownership, how much of freedom can a journalist muster from the ownership, if the ownership is having some political affiliation with the ruling party or with other political system? So you look at all those things. So when you look at all this, they call it media sociology. Look at the libertarian, you look at the responsible, you look at this, you look at that, you look at the economy, whatever. You will see that. Then what about the censorship, self-censorship on the part of the journalist, who has been asked to go and look for a story only to get there and be looking for another thing? This is our constituency. I know what I'm saying. And everybody need to know that. He gets there. He's not restricted, but he's just feeling it. Bring the story to the editor and let the editor see whether they go or not. That's not, you bring it raw. Who will edit it here? Is it not? So rather than going for that one of them, those that have the hard stuff, those that have the soft stuff, they are quite different and distinct. The soft stuff will be looking for all this gossip, like you said the other time, grapevine and whatever. Hard stuff will be looking for serious issues about the development of the nation and so on and so forth. Then you now see that prominence and some other things, hidden things, crime, 60 and whatever, they bring it. They don't want all those things to come out because you see darkness there. You see journalists carrying the torch of freedom, torch of liberty, torch of progress to ensure that things will go as expected. Because the health of the republic is paramount and germane for the success of the journalist. Because journalist is first of all a citizen before he becomes a journalist.
Thank you so much, Angel Folorunsho. We'll go on a break now, and when we come back, we'll look at the state of the nation. Don't go away. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back from that break. Still the agenda on the Dominion Brokers Group. We now look at the state of a nation. We take a critical look at where Nigeria stands, examining the challenges, opportunities, and defining issues shaping our nation's future. From economic struggles and security concerns to political developments and social transformation, Nigeria stands at a crossroad. The resilience of its people remains unshaken. Yet, pressing questions linger. Are we moving forward as a country, as a people, or are we stuck in cycles of unfulfilled potentials? Well, we'll be discussing this morning. Dolapo, looking holistically at the state of the Nigerian polity this morning, would you say we are moving forward as a country? Are we getting it right? Or are we growing into getting it right?
Yeah, I believe we are growing into getting it right.
Okay.
One mistake I usually point out is that maybe, just maybe, the military interregnum of 1966 was supposed not to have happened because every democracy, every system of government, goes through evolution. And the military interregnum, actually stalled our progress for so many years. So fast forward down to 1999, when we returned back to democracy. I think this year, 2025, will be 26 years, of practicing uninterrupted democracy. Of course, we've had our high points, we've had our low points, we've had the successful years, we have also had the low-cost years also. Between 1999 and 2015, we saw the rise of the middle class. For the very first time within that period, in our 26 years, of practicing uninterrupted democracy, we were able to, at least for the first time, achieve a single-digit inflation rate. That was between 1999 and 2015. Although inflation rate is actually double-digit at the moment, we've seen so many beautiful things happen in Nigeria. There was debt relief. We paid our debts, even though we are still subsumed, under debt as we speak. So it has been a roller coaster, of the positive and the negative. Even the ailment, the malady of the 1960s, even what we inherited from our colonial masters, is still with us. Ethnic tension, religious tension. We are still battling insecurity. The data as of today says that about 2,000 citizens, have been killed between the month of January 2025 and March 2025. We have not been able to find answers. And in these 26 years of practicing uninterrupted democracy, we have seen us also regressed, moving backwards instead of, moving forward because of pro-economic policies, economic somersaults, and all that. And you also see that you've just finished talking about freedom of the press. According to the World Freedom Press Index, we are 112th out of 188. That's a negative index at the moment. So it's been a roller coaster of events. I wouldn't say everything is uhuru yet, but I think we can actually make use of the best, and I would say there's light at the end of the tunnel for us.
All right, Comrade Folorunso, I know you took your time to listen. I know you were giggling at some point. However, are you in consonance with him or are you in dissonance? Has Nigeria grown? Are we growing to that country, or would you say we've not even started walking as a country 65 years after?
Thank you very much. We are growing, but we are not developing. There's a difference between development and growth. Growth, you count numbers. In development, you look at the quality of life of the people that you are saying you are governing. You look at the quality of life of Nigerians today. You will agree with me that the quality of life of Nigerians today is not anything to write home about. People are living from hand to mouth. even at a stage, there are a lot of hindrances between the distance between the mouth and the food put on the table, if there's anything on the table. So when you look at all those things, and then you look at the directionless, you look at time wasting, you look at people being killed like rats, whereas in some countries you don't even kill rats anyhow, you'll be arrested by animal rights activists. So if human beings are dying, said it was quoting 2,000 what, rat or insect or canine, or what do you call it? I mean, I can't just understand. And harm against one is an harm against all. Not to talk about, plenty of people like that, representative of their various families, their children, their wives, their this and that. So for me, on that note, even if you have done whatever, that is zero. Hitler did well in his time in Germany. He did well. He introduced Volkswagen, but that 6 million Jews that he killed, rubbished all that he had done. Babangida could have passed for something good, but announcement of June 12 finishes his existence. It's just on a borrowed time. So I don't see all these things that they are doing now. What are they doing? Where are we? We are not on the right track. What are we doing now? When Jonathan was there, they said Nigeria is the largest economy in Africa. Today, when the locust years of Buhari, they talk that we are the poverty capital of the whole world, followed by Bangladesh that time, and then up to today. And then you see the thing we went through COVID-19, we went through a mafialization of Nigerian economy. Now we come to the issue of taking away subsidy without anything to prepare for the ground. I mean, what type of three things heaped on us, and all of us see what we have not come out of COVID-19. Those who borrowed money, they have not paid. Bailout, they have not paid. Now see what is happening. And then they are treating us as if we are not a human being. You now say, I don't see anything. All I see is I see what I do. All I see, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. And I'm not ready to see anything. Because these people are drifting in perpetual aimlessness. How could you have started on the note of economy when we are carrying burden of COVID-19 and emefialism? And then now you came back, you take away subsidy. You didn't talk about security. Who will spend the money? Now if you gather your money, you gather your tax. They said they have approved their tax something yesterday at the Senate. You gather all those things. Who will spend the thing? People are just dying. Who will come here to come and invest? Where do you get your tourism? Who will come here? Who will come to, who will bring the money down here? So the one that is there, they are closing shops. I told them this, the twin economy policy of this man will land Nigeria in soup from day one. But this man is not taking us anywhere. They're not deceiving themselves. He's doing and up till now, is it working? Is it the economic policy that is working? Is it disclosure of the companies on daily basis that is working? How will you generate the tax you are talking about? How do you employ people if companies are closing down? These are the things. The farmers on the farm, they cannot stay there. We went to, I have gone to a cooperative society to go and borrow money to do crop farming. You have gone there to borrow, to do your own livestock. Now you are asking your livestock to come and be finishing my own crop. How will I pay? I mean, where is justice in that one? Who is telling us that one? And then you see open grazing, people are dying around there. The shit of cow is part of the source of tuberculosis. Don't they know? I can't understand these people. Do you get what I say? They are dead as the cows are moving. Don't forget that one. We say we want to reforest. There is deforestation, there is desert, there is something encroaching. Now you are allowing the hard part cow to be moving about. It will create what they call bad land, and then the savannah will turn to desert, then the forest will turn to savannah. These are the issues. It's not, I'm not here for any. For me, on education, they have finished the education system. If you want to destroy a republic, finish the education, because the education is like the brain box. The problem we are having today is as a result of the problem of the education system. The so-called eggheads, they have nothing to lose except their yoke, and they have not been able to perform because they have been pushed to a level. Once there's a problem in a nation, then the education something will be the last resort. You go to university to go and solve the problem. I can't understand Nigerians one. The university, you don't pay the lecturers well. I can't understand it. What are these people doing? Tell me. I want to know. I don't know what they are doing. They are not doing anything. Somebody who knows next to nothing will now be the one controlling the university system, and then they are doing everything rough.
Comrade, yeah, you've lamented.
Yes, Jerry made. Jerry made. Lamentation. Wow. I'm hungry. I'm not happy. You know.
All right, we'll go on a break. We'll be back shortly. welcome back from that break. Yeah, we just needed to go on that break and then get back. Well, I would have loved to go straight to Dolapo and Join here, but still on Comrade Angel Folorunsho show. You've been opening the books of lamentations. You've been angry about the Nigerian state. But I remember you used to be the state chairman, the Oyo state chairman of the of APGA. That's Alliance, All Progressives Grand Alliance. APGA. Yeah, APGA, yes. Where you steered the ship of the party in Oyo State. Yes. As a politician now, would you say that, politically speaking, that Mr. President is playing the politics he's meant to play the right way, especially when it comes to governance of the Nigerian state?
Thank you very much. It's not that Tinubu is not trying when it comes to certain level of looking at it. Even I cherish one thing about him, the capacity to make speech without necessarily doing a lot of you know, can speak extemporaneously, can look around, you know, think about how to provide some solution, then some listening skills here and there. But the basic thing is that even if you bring Bill Clinton, marry with this man that is creating crisis all over the world now, Trump, join with maybe Diagbon, Lord rest his soul, and Rawlings, bring them to this country, they will fail.
Why?
The structure is not conducive. That's why some of us are talking
so
about
there's a structural problem.
It is systemic and carry-ons, decay everywhere. How will you succeed in that area? You want to lift certain things, some people say this is not the time to lift. And you want to radicalize, some people will show you some things that you won't get. Then you ethnicize things, ethnic jingoism, identityism. People will be talking about their ethnic group, mentioning names around there. So how do you develop in that type of environment? We are talking about humanity here. Blood is running under your veins. It's running here too. So what's my business about Igbo or Fulani or something? What's my business? Ebimpa Fulani, Ebimpa Yoruba. So what was the difference? So the issue now is that with the coming of the this man, if you look at the thing that brought him, even though that one was sealed at the Supreme Court, the legitimacy of Tinubu himself. Look at a nation where about 60 million people register for election to go and vote. Less than 30 million came out. And in that 30 million is about 8-point-something million that took that gave power to somebody. 8-point-something million. That's as a result of a democratic principle we are operating. They call it simple majority. First to pass the poll. Otherwise, legitimacy now crowned through the Supreme Court. Otherwise, look at the 12-point-something million between Atiku and Obi, wasted, and so on and so forth. So what we are saying is that when you look at the system, the way the politics is run, the leadership recruitment method, the characters of the people that you are calling leaders and their antecedents, you will just be asking. Some are supposed to be somewhere else, and then you find them in power because they have, monetized politics in Nigeria here. Anything goes. They do this, they are all sorts of things, give money, impoverish them in order to compel their obedience. That's what they are doing here. Introduced by Babangida. And all of them, they are going through. So the more you are getting impoverished, they will be happy. You won't be able to do much. If you want to protest, you won't be able to. Can come out and protest. Somebody who is hungry will protest, will drop on the way, and that's the end. And then nobody cares. So when you look at all these things, this enabling environment and untenability of what these people are trying to put across, as if we are in stage of war all the time. I don't see anything.
Let's look at the most recent one now, and that's the issue of the PDP in Delta State.
Right.
All structures of that party in Delta State decamped, even with the governor, to the APC. Some have said this is inching towards a monolithic political
one-party state
entity. Now, is this actually a one-party state move? If not, what is the game that is going on ahead of 2027? Are you still actively involved in politics at the moment, or you have retired? Or have they retired you?
Thank you very much. I'm not involved in partisan politics
anymore.
Yeah, the moment I discover
you were retired.
No. The moment I discovered what they were doing, I put up critical thinking in the party. Some people they felt that their feathers had been ruffled. I didn't hide it. I clashed with someone. I'm not bothered. I'm here to serve. As I'm here now, I'm getting involved what they call civic engagement. I'm serving Nigeria already. So it's not compulsory or a daily or something. No, you sir, I'm eating, I'm serving because I'm part of humanity. I'm still serving because I bought that food. So what type of thinking is this one until I get to somewhere before I serve? No. So I ruffled some feathers and I left. I couldn't even go for second time. I'm not interested in this type of. You are condemning PDP, condemning APC. See what you people are doing here inside. They supported some of us, so when they come to the intellectual articulation, I mean, I'm not making it out. They have participated up to top level in there. So what we are saying is that the way the democracy is being run, it's not supposed to be run. If we call it democracy, what we have is civil rule. It's not democracy yet. And then it's the partisan arrangement, and then look at the thing that you have just raised concerning Niger Delta. That's Ogunwerire and Okowa and the rest there. That is political infantilism. They just feel people are moving this way. Some will say bandwagon effect. Start joining them. Joining what? Majoritarian tyranny will always be there. The majority will have their way. Minority will have their say. The only thing against majority is conscience. Conscience overrules majority. Go your way. Me, I'm not following. Whatever happens, I'm ready to bear the consequences. That's life. You call me at once. The second one, speculation. You are going somewhere, you are going to say, well, no, have you gone and come back? So these are the things. So when you look at what they were trying to do is that, say, come all ye heavy laden politically and are victims of EFCC. The space of APC is spacious. He will be ready to accommodate whoever is coming as a repentant, whatever. That's what they are trying to do. So they run there. Oshiomhole said it. Somebody who is a comrade talking that way. I mean, say you should quote the moment you run to APC, your sins are forgiven. What's the meaning of that one? What type of talk is that one? I don't need to analyze that one.
Is that a political statement?
That's from Oshiomhole,
yes,
the current senator.
Yeah, is that a political statement?
A political stratagem, not even strategy.
Okay.
Stratagem, plural. To deceive people. Leave it to this, and it's decaying and it's smelly. So when you look at all those, because somebody who have committed sin definitely is not repentant yet, and then you say you are forgiven, then it means you don't forget. So forgive. They say forgive, don't forget. Forgive, don't forget, so that you don't run into the crisis again. That's the essence of running. Forgive and forget what, so that you run into the trouble again or what. You learn the lesson there. So what is gradually happening there, even without those people doing the thing that they have done, Nigeria is operating what they call one-party multipartism. One-party multipartism.
Okay, can you break that down?
One dominant party with other lesser ones. That's the meaning. Yet you will call it multi-party system. Look at it. Is it from PDP? The 5 governors that went the other time, the first one, they moved to this APC. Now again, the second coming. History repeating itself, either in farce or in tragedy. Now this time again, you see the so-called led by Wiki, these are our man here and the rest. Autumn,
that's the G5.
They say the G5. They cross-leg and then they move, they abandon their party. At the storm of politics, I can't understand that one. We have tried that one under Bola Ige or Awolowo. No principle, no ideology. The ideology is the pocket. The ideology is the stomach. The ideology is, lack of humanity. No principle, no bother about the condition of the masses. Human condition matters a lot in politics. And then so when you look at it from that angle, and then they cross and then they are managing, if there's nothing wrong in bipartisan arrangement, that is, you have found somebody better from other party, you bring that person. But that does not mean that person should rubbish his own ideological position. But where is the ideology? There is one ideology in Nigeria. The ideology is that can you count money? If once you can count money, you can come from any party. I've got the money. 12 no, PDP. By 3 p.m., APC, night, Labour. That's Nigerian politics for you. So when you have politics like that one, it's a politics of continuous aimless drifting without the benefit of a guiding compass. Left floundered at the sea of nothingness. So the republic will be bleeding now. Is it not bleeding? And you want to hear this? For you to resolve terrorism, you need more democracy. That's what studies bring out, which we participated in. For terrorism to go, more democracy. It is that democracy they want to keep.
Are we not practicing democracy?
No. We don't call this one democracy. We call it civil rule in the human rights world. This is civil rule. Where is the democracy? Democracy that they don't have internal democracy when they are doing primaries. Democracy whereby somebody will just come from nowhere and say, Baba Sokpe. Democracy where you are at a party convention, thinking that you want to quickly do something and then bring something up. Somebody will just, as you are about announcing, somebody will just bring something from the pocket. Court injunction, restraining you with all the money. All of us will have done that all over Nigeria in one convention. Somebody will just bring something. Court injunction. Then they start looking at it. You see people's company. Another one counter. I mean. See the judicial system. That place is, that place they are eating carrions there. I don't understand what they are doing there. So when you look at a nation where number 4 is becoming number 1, the reversal of politics, the reversal of democracy. Can you imagine all those things? And then some element will now say that they are presiding. What are you presiding over other than tyrannical mandate? That's what you are presiding over. So if we like, let us be deceiving ourselves here. The world, they are looking at us. That's why some of us, I won't go for what is not. I don't understand what they are doing. So when you look at all these things, Nigeria is tilting towards one party, multi-partyism. So it's not tilting. But what we'll be wary of is that with the type of man that is in power now, because it's a master strategist, we should be very, very careful. And then with the rubber stamp National Assembly, anything goes there. The ugly aspect of the trend is that if eventually this type of man gets second term, and then all of a sudden he manipulates the National Assembly, they vote there and say there's need for a third term so that they can finish the good work he has started. Before you know it, like what is going on in Togo now.
Is that a speculation?
Yeah, you see they have them around, the generation. That boy there and has been there for since many years now. All of a sudden now they have tinkered with the constitution before you know that he says he's president.
Become a life president.
That president. I mean, these are the things. The thing if you are in power for 1 year or 2 and nothing to show, you can't do anything again. Say you are not the one spending the money. It is the money of the masses. So the only thing is the application of the fund to what matters to the masses. That's all. And then give us enabling environment to continue to life. So as far as one is concerned, concerning what is going on in Nigeria today, without restructuring, this nation is going.
You are a proponent of restructuring.
Basic.
Are you saying we should go back to the 1963 constitution and retouch that constitution?
Those that are talking about this issue of going back to 1960, whatever, I don't go for all those things.
So
I am working on. I'm a student of now. There's only the power of now. The power of now. History is accursed with some things because it caused disaster that can never be reversed. That's one of the problems of history. So don't make that error at all. Let it alone because we don't get time to.
So what progress should we make?
Well, if the opportunity should be availed, what you need to do now is this tinkering, this piecemeal something can't get us anywhere. You can just say, okay, in order to balance power, this presidential system is they say it's too expensive. All right, He cannot talk. They gave it to us. We may say we don't want to get. Then we go dual executive system. Prime Minister, President. If President comes from the north, Prime Minister will come from the south. The others will bring a Senate President. Oh, can this thing talk? Can it talk? If you don't want to go through the British type of Westminster arrangement, you go through French style. The President will be the executive. The Prime Minister will be the one to be doing the day-to-day running. So there's no problem. There's balance of power and balance of terror. So what are we saying? So these are the things that. So all these small amendment. 1999 also amended. I love these people. They don't know where they're going. The second option is too frank. You restructure this country, and then let these youth that are coming take over now through tutorial and tutelage. You don't. By the time we are old proper, we won't be able to run that time. Lord have mercy.
Well, Strong words by Angel Folorunsho there. Dolapo, quick one. Yes, the state of the nation.
Yes.
You heard from Comrade Angel Folorunsho. Your own 1 cent on the state of the nation.
Well, I'm also a proponent of restructuring. I believe Abuja cannot solve our problems. I believe that, and you know, restructuring is just the major way to go. And at the moment, when you look at the way Nigeria is being run, for the past 8 years, you know, the country has been run aground, you know, with different economic policies that has not worked. 2027 is around the corner. You know, people say yes, the president is a master strategist. Yes, he's a master strategist. You know, when you look at his strategies, you know, it's like that of the machine politics. You know, that the United States abandoned, you know, years ago. He worked in Chicago, he worked in New York, but they abandoned it. Why they abandoned it? Because there was an awakening, you know, from the citizens. And that was why the machine politics, you know, died automatically. Yeah, the president might be strategizing, might be, you know, wooing opposition figures, but we as citizens, we are the pawns on the chessboard, political chessboard of these political masters. So I would say our destiny is in our hands. We need to create our own world. Unfortunately, what the polity has thrown before us, we just have to make the choices. You pick the lesser evil and, you know, you go with it. And what I can just say is that in choosing our leaders, what are your interests? Does this leader, does his interest align with mine? If it aligns with yours, queue behind the leader. Cast your vote for him till we are able to sort out the system.
There's hope, right?
Yes, there's always hope, you know. There's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay, Angel, Comrade,
Yes, sir.
is there hope? In just 30 seconds.
Apart from renewed hope, they are talking about.
Not the renewed hope. Is there
there's
hope for a better country?
There's hope against hope.
Hope against hope. You want to break that down in 30 seconds?
Well, the hope against hope is that when you get there again, they say there's another hope. Or like, another hope. Another hope. Another hope! 25 years ago, the child of 25 years now, this their so-called democracy, is a big boy now, big girls. You see now, we are talking story. Is there anything? So, there will always be hope, philosophically and metaphysically. There will always be there because expectation matters. But what type of hope, that's another thing.
Well, we'll still have you more on the program for us to have more robust discussion on the agenda. All right, thank you for joining us this morning on the agenda. Well, you can follow us on all our social media platforms on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. It's at Dominion Broadcasts, at Dominion Broadcast. And on the app X, it's at Dominion Cast. Let's keep that conversation going. My name is Chike Ubo. Do have a great day and stay safe.